Hi everyone, it's Charlotte from the Kia Hyundai channel and welcome back. We've been on a little bit of hiatus from Hyundai product, but today we are bringing it back and we're starting off strong. So behind me I have the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe, and this is the ultimate calligraphy vehicle. So what we're going to be talking about with this vehicle today is of course doing an exterior walk around, taking a look at the design elements and what tech we see on the outside, and then also of course going on the inside, what does the driver see, what is the console, what is the back seat like, and then also trunk space. So what we're going to start off with doing is taking a look at the key fob actually, because this is where a lot of the tech starts. So this fob from a glance, it does look very high-end, very techy. Of course, with any fob, you are going to have your lock and unlock. That is very important. You also have your power tailgate, so you can open your tailgate from that. Panic button, which is always important. And now what's really interesting, it's going to be these three vehicles here. So this one at the bottom is going to be your remote start. And these ones are actually going to give you the ability to control if your vehicle is moving forwards or backwards while you're not in it. So what you do is you remote start it, and then you're able again to use these as a control. Now, I'm not going to show that on camera just because we are inside. I don't want to gas out anyone in any of the adjoining offices. That is very, very looked down upon. But the use of this is, like I said, when you remote start it, is say I'm standing here, I'm parked in a really tight parking spot, I can actually use it to either bring the vehicle forward or backwards. Now, obviously, most of us are going to use it to pull forward because backing into a spot is very nerve-wracking, especially when you are in control of the vehicle, but you do have to rely on the tech to do its job. So that can be a little intimidating, so I definitely use it to bring it forward, just out of a tight parking space. Parking space, I find it really helpful. But to start, let's take a look on the outside of the vehicle. We'll start up here at the front. I do have the lights on. You can see that these are all nice bright LEDs. So you've got your lights, you've got your amber light on the side. And then taking a look at some of the design and tech aspects. For tech, is this vehicle is equipped with sensors all around the vehicle. And we'll talk about those sensors when we get inside the vehicle to see what they actually do and how it benefits you. So again, let's look at the grille. We've got this nice piano black here, and I really, really like the piano black, the lighter silver, and then the shimmering silver paint color that this vehicle is in. I know it's pretty much just three colors within the same shade category, but I think that it works really well together. Kind of a monochromatic look because we are playing within the same color family, just different shades. So that looks great. Some of the lines here too, redesigned. You can see that a lot of them are pointing towards the nose, pointing towards the grille. It looks very angular, very intentional, and I think that that was a good design choice that they made. And lots of texture on the front. We've got texture at the top, and then also same on the bottom. So let's move around. Oh, our lights just turned off. I might have to wave them on. I don't think it's gonna work. Oh, there we go. Awesome. So moving around to the side, let's take a look at these rims. So controversial, I really like these rims. I know Hyundai in the past, people can really love or hate what they do with their rim design. It could be a little bit of a hot topic, and some people have said it can ruin the vehicle depending on what rims they choose. I really like these ones, especially with this silver, and we have the black and the lighter chrome on the front, because it really ties it all in. You can see that, again, we still have the same silver, and then we've got this graphite color, so still playing within the color family. And when you look at the vehicle as a whole, it doesn't look disconnected, it looks very cohesive. We're gonna take a look at the mirrors too. So we've got a split on the mirrors, and I'll have it come around. So you can see we've got some black detailing on the side, and here you can also see your side view camera. So again, when we're inside the vehicle, I'll show you guys what this looks like from the screen. You do have your signal lights on the side. I know some vehicles don't have that. I like to have it. And then also, you have your blind spot monitoring. So this isn't illuminated right now, but it's a little triangle with the exclamation point. When someone is in your blind spot, the vehicle will beep at you, and that will also be illuminated, usually a nice orange color. Taking a look at the door, you have your lock and unlock. I have the key in my pocket, so it's just gonna beep right now. It's not gonna do anything. And then you have a nice long roof rack, which elongates the top and brings kind of it all the way back. So I think that looks really good from a design standpoint as well. But let's take a look at the rear and what we have back here. So again, you are going to have your LED lights, so your brake lights, your signal lights, and I'm actually going to go and turn on the hazards, and I'm going to step on the brake, that way you guys can see everything too. So I've got my foot on the brake, so hopefully that's showing up. I'm just going purely off of faith right now because obviously I cannot see it. So it's gonna beep. Again, the key's just in my pocket. But the signal lights, they actually are on the bottom of the vehicle. Personally, I would have liked to have seen them on the top. That's just personal preference. I like them to be higher up. Not that I'm, worried that people won't see them because they are LEDs, they are nice and bright. I think it's just that I prefer the look of it, and I'm more so used to seeing other vehicles with that too. But again, it's a feature that some people love, some people don't love, and to each their own. You've got your rear wiper blade here, and then on the back is you're going to have your badging, so Santa Fe badging there, 2.5 turbo. And now what we'll do is we can take a look at the trunk. Okay, so I just took a quick break and I turned the vehicle off. I had it in accessory mode to turn on the lights. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys the power tailgate on this as well. So I'm gonna make sure that the vehicle is locked. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold down, and it literally says hold on it. And this is gonna open up for me and we can see the trunk space that's in this vehicle. Now, the Tucson actually is rated to have more trunk space than this vehicle, but I think something that they don't often consider is some of the extra space that you have. So in this vehicle, we can see that we do have a good amount of trunk space. If I was to hop in here, I can put my back all the way to the second row of seats, and these are slightly reclined as well, probably a little bit more reclined than most people use. And my legs, I'm about 5'3", they are fully in the trunk. Like this could close, we're not gonna do that, and I would fit in here. So you do have a fair amount of depth in the trunk, and then also, you have these two compartments. So here, it does come with an inflator kit. It does not come with a spare tire, but you do have some area here where you can put some cargo. And then also same with this one, is this one folds up as well. So all of a sudden is you have these three components where you can definitely store stuff. Like if any of you have any car essentials per se, cables, anything like that, that's a great spot to put them. So I think a lot of the time people can discount the underneath space that you get when it comes to comparing the Santa Fe with the Tucson. But again, both vehicles that offer lots of space. In the trunk as well, if you come from this side, you do have some outlets as well, and then these are also for your seats. So if I press that, it nice and easy brings it down. I'll show you on this one as well. So that's nice if you are loading in some bigger items, and instead of having to run around and put the seats down, you're able to just really easy do it from here, drop them down. And the passenger seat, it is back a little bit more, so that's why the one didn't fully go down, but still gives lots of space. Okay, so now that we've finished the outside walk around of the vehicles, we're going to take a look on the inside. So of course we're going to start with the driver's seat and the front cabin, and then we'll work our way back. So I'll start off just by showing you guys the door. So here is the door. You can see that it has this nice piano black detailing on it, and depending on how well the camera will pick it up, you can see that there's a little bit of a crosshatch pattern in gray, so that gives a little bit more dimension to it. And then if you look over here on the side, is we do have your door handle. There's nothing too special about it. And then you also have your memory seats. So driver one, whoever else is driving your vehicle, and then you have the capacity to set them there. On the side is you do have a little pocket. It's fairly deep. It's probably about the half of my hand goes to about here on my middle finger there. And then also taking a look at your controls. So you do have automatic mirrors. So you've got your controls for them, and you can switch it between controlling your left mirror and your right mirror. You have your lock and unlock buttons, window controls, and then also child lock. Not only do I use that for children, but I do use that for my dogs. So I love it when it's right there and easily accessible. In this vehicle, you do have premium sound systems. So you've got Harman Kardon, and as you can see, they gave them a little bit of texture here. This isn't just a design element, it actually is textured. I can feel that. And then you have a pocket down at the rear that stretches probably from about here to the inside of the vehicle. It's a pretty good depth. I'd say it's more so like the width of the depth of my hand. It does say, you know, don't put a drink there. It's not a cup holder. I have put my enclosed water bottle there, and I haven't had a problem. No sirens or anything like that. Anyone trying to stop me. So, taking a look at the seats is we have seen these seats before, and there are many ways that you can adjust them. So I'll show you down at the bottom too. We've got more silver detailing saying Santa Fe, but for the seats as well. So what I really like about these seats is they are really adjustable, and you are really able to customize it to your driving needs and whatever is comfortable for you. So this part right here, a lot of vehicles you're not really able to adjust where your knees sit per se. But with this, what we can do is if you're a little bit shorter, you can bring that in. If that looks way too short for you and terrifies you, you can push it outwards to give yourself a little bit more room there. You also have four-way lumbar support. So if you're someone who has a little bit of a tricky back and needs a little bit more support, don't worry, your seats can support you. And then also, we've seen this before, moving forwards and back, and then also how the seat is going to recline front and back as well. Taking a look at the seats for themselves is we do have some nice quilted leather and detailing up here at the top. And then you will see that it is perforated. So we have all of these little holes and perforations, and those are for your heated and ventilated seats, which we know this vehicle has and is very comfortable. If we take a look over here at the side, you're gonna have your controls. So first, you've got your electronic parking brake. A lot of this time, this can either be a typical lever in the center of the vehicle, or it can also be a button. On the Santa Fe, it is over to the side, and you just pull it up like that, and that enacts your parking brake for you. You've got your brightness controls, as well as your traction control, your safety features here for you. And now what we'll do is we will hop into the cabin of the vehicle, go through the steering wheel controls, and move our way over to the passenger side. So, I'm gonna hop in the vehicle. I'm gonna turn it on, but not on, just into accessory mode. There we go. Just turned the music off for copyright. There we go. All right, so we can take a look at our dash here. So it is fully electronic, and there are lots of different ways that we can customize it depending on drive modes or the different modes that you want to use in this vehicle, the different displays. So taking a look at the steering wheel, we'll start there. And on the left side is you're going to have what I call your speaking or your communication side. You're going to have your speaking commands, different media modes here. So whether that's Bluetooth, AM radio, FM radio, or any other different media that you have. Volume controls, and then also switching between them. So whether it's switching channels, whether it's again switching between modes, your ability to make a call and your ability to end a call as well. Okay, so now we're going to move over towards the right side of the steering wheel, which is going to be all of these controls here. So this is what I like to refer to as the driving controls as opposed to the communication controls. So I'm going to keep the camera focused mostly on the center dash. That way you guys can see the differences. And what I'm going to be pressing is I'm going to be pressing this button here. It kind of looks like a little notepad, and I'm going to cycle through everything that is on the center. So the first one here is that we have the attention level. So if you're starting to drive a little bit erratically, you're swerving a lot in your lane, this is going to give you a suggestion, maybe take a break. Your attention level might be low, maybe time to pull over to the road and take a little bit of a break and then get back on it. And then as I press down, it's going to give me a different display option. We can actually see the vehicle as if it was on the road and where it would be. Of course, we are not on the road. We are in the video bay right now. And then the next screen, this is what I like to call your driving specs. So it's going to give you a bunch of different specs. It's set on the middle one right now. I'm going to go actually to the top, to the first one. So drive info. So this is going to be for when you're currently driving the vehicle. It's going to give you the information on how far have you driven currently, your trip, the average liters per 100 kilometers that you're getting during that trip, and also how long you've been driving for. Moving down is going to give the same specs since refueling, so since you put in your last tank gas. Then also the accumulated info. So I find this really interesting because it can help narrow down some of your driving habits and see really what you are like as a driver when it comes to the numbers aspect of it. So of course this vehicle is a test drive vehicle, so its specs are going to be a little bit different because people are not driving it as consistently as you drive your own vehicle. Everyone's driving it differently to test out the different features. Then you have your auto stop, and then lastly your speedometer. So I pretty much always have it as my speedometer. I really like having it electric as opposed to analog. I just find that that's a little bit better for me. The third one is going to be more so of your navigation. So you've got your compass there. And then also, like I said, because the vehicle isn't on and we're not driving it, it's not going to give you my tire pressures, but when the vehicle is on, when you are driving it, it will measure your tire pressure from the TPMS sensors. So that is really nice as well. I'm going to shift the camera down. There we go. To focus again more on the controls. So over here is what you're also going to have is you're going to have your lane follow assist and then also your smart highway driving. And those are going to work in conjunction with smart cruise control as well, which you can set to keep everyone nice and safe while you are driving on the highway. Taking another look behind, you can see that we have paddle shifters. On this side is going to be everything for your lights. So you can set them to auto, you can set them to fully on, off. Lights are all there. And then on this side is you are going to have your windshield wipers. So again, for the rear, high, low, and off. And then same thing with the front. So that's nice and easy. Now shifting over to this side, you are going to have your display screen. Now we have seen this before. This isn't anything new or revolutionary. It does of course look a little bit different than how Kia designs theirs. Now, something that's really nice about this vehicle is you do have passenger talk. It is a little bit of a smaller vehicle. I won't actually use it because there's no one in here, but I can hear the echo a little bit. So that is really nice with a bigger SUV because even just being in the back seat, it can be hard when you've got, your fan on full blast because it's hot out and you want the AC to be circulating. So that is nice that they have incorporated that. And then on the screen as well, you can see that it is, again, Harman Kardon, and it does have Sirius XM radio, so it does have the capacity for satellite, which is super nice. There's all of your options if you want to see them. You can set different profiles, so right now it's just set to guest, again, because it is a test drive vehicle, but you can add multiple users. Now moving down into the center console, and holy buttons. I don't know about you guys, but with some of the newer vehicles, like the Tucson, the higher level Tucson and Santa Fe's, is they've gotten rid of a lot of the buttons and have gone a more digital approach. The same thing with Kia that we've seen in the EV6 and the 23 Sportage as well. So I'm going to give you guys 3 seconds because I am dying to know, are you pro button or are you pro digital? Do you like having all of these buttons there and being able to tactically press them? Or do you like it to be the digital cluster that you're able to get? So 3 seconds starts now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you better have your comments in. So yeah, well, let's see what we have here from just taking a look at the center. Is up here is you're going to have all of your media control, so map, nav, your favorites button, being able to switch in between tracks there as well, radio, media, and setup. And then also you're going to have your volume knob, so you're going to have your you're going to be able to change the channel. I'm flubbing up my words on me. In the center here, it's broken down more so into your climate elements. So auto climate, you do have these different buttons here. So this is a little bit new, but this is how you're going to be able to increase heat or bring the temperature down depending on what the weather is like for you. You do have AC, your fan controls, front and rear defrost, and then also cycling the air to the back of the vehicle. And then you can sync them. So if you want it to be the same for the drivers and the passengers, you can do so. If not, everyone can have their own different temperature too. Now, something that's really interesting, of course, is going to be your gear shift. So it is a button gear shift. It's not a shift by wire. It's not a typical lever. So some people really like this feature and some people really don't. A lot of people don't like it because you can't it can be a lot harder to switch the vehicle into manual mode than with the lever if you just bring it over. But actually, if you do want to switch your vehicle to change gears into manual mode, it's not too hard because you've got paddle shifters. So what you do is you just hold your paddle shifter And that's going to essentially allow you to switch from automatic to manual mode if you do need to switch gear shifts that way. But I'm not opposed to the button gear shift. I don't hate it, but I do think I like the more traditional lever. I just find that it's easier. But I also do like the shift by wire. So if I have to rank them, I'd probably say, you know, typical lever for me, shift by wire, and then the buttons. It's just not quite what I love, but that's the beauty of it. It's entirely opinions. You do have auto hold and auto stop and go for you as well. So that's to help with efficiency. And then over here, what do we have here? Now, if you are in the States, you may be like, okay, this looks really different. You don't always have the terrain modes and the different drive modes as well. So you have 3 different drive modes: comfort, sport, and smart. So I typically like to drive my vehicle in smart mode, because what it's going to do is it's going to pretty much drive your vehicle, allow it to be the most efficient way possible while still allowing the vehicle to make decisions, if that makes sense based on your driving habits. So what does that mean is, you know, maybe as you're accelerating, it may switch you into comfort and then into sport mode, but it's just allowing the vehicle again to make those good decisions to get you the maximum efficiency that you can. And then also with these, I'm going to switch back to the display, because as I switch the modes, so right now it's in smart, now it's in sport and comfort. So it does change your speedometer and tachometer, which I think is really neat. And then also you're going to have your terrain modes, so snow, mud, and sand. So you've got 3 of those as well. On this side of the vehicle, as you can see, your heated and ventilated seats, so both for the passenger and the driver's seat, which I mentioned earlier by showing the seat. And then on the very side is you're going to have your hill descent, which is really good if you're camping, if you're parked on a really steep hill. And then also you're going to have your cameras. This is for your parking sensors. On the front walk around, I showed you guys that this vehicle has a lot of parking sensors. It is very much equipped with them. And so this pretty much turns them on. And you can also turn them off. Something I personally have found is when I'm going through the drive-thru, it can be beep, 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 beeping at me while I'm in the drive-thru. So it is nice to turn it off for that time. That way I'm not yelling over the beeping while they're trying to take my order or while I'm trying to pay them. Here we also have your cameras. So I'll flip up to the screen. Now with the rear view cameras, and again, we did look at all the cameras around the vehicle, is they do give you grid lines in the back. I'll see if it'll show it here. No, it won't. So because the vehicle isn't on, it's not going to give you your guidelines, but once the vehicle is on, you're in reverse, it will show you that. That way you can see your turning radius. So this is going to be your bird's eye view from the rear view camera, and then to the side, your surround view 360. So we can see that we're in the bay, we're parked at an angle, all things that we know to be true. That's my rear view camera. And then these are your side view cameras. So this is really good if you're parallel parking and you want to see where the lights are. You can see them there, so that is good. Taking a look at some of the design and convenience elements in the center. You do have a USB, you do have wireless charging, which is actually this part right here. It is pretty deep. Again, about half of my hand is going to fit in there. It is wide enough for most phones. You know, I'm not really going to see people having much of a problem if it's not fitting. The only thing is, obviously, if you want to charge an iPad, it may not fit in there unless it's maybe one of the smaller ones. I've yet to try that, but I really should. You do have a little cup holder here, and then also up at the top. This one's a little bit bigger, which is nice. Then your center console as well. So it's really nice because it is fairly deep, and then it does give you a little bit of an area just for you to sort through it because it is so deep. So it gives you a little bit of this bucket here that you can put some of your change in. That way it's out of view when this is closed as well. And then also this is going to fold down. So if you don't want anyone to see what's in there, it'll fold down. And this is the same kind of material. It's not the piano black, but it does have that same almost crosshatch texture or pattern that I mentioned to you guys that is on the side of the vehicle. It's just more so in the silver. So again, really cohesive between the door to the center to the outside of the vehicle. I think that that was a good design choice. All right, so before I take a look at the back seat, there's just a couple items I do want to mention still in the front. I was filming the inside and I didn't have Gabby to film me, but I've recruited someone as my cameraman now, so we're good. So a couple of the items that I do want to point out is, first of all, this vehicle is equipped with heads-up display. That is something that is already tricky to put on camera, but pretty much what it means is when you are sitting in the driver's spot, your speed is projected on the windshield and you are able to see it without looking down at your speedometer. So that is a feature I do want to mention that this vehicle is equipped with. And then another little design element that Hyundai typically does is putting a little bit of space underneath the console here. So if you can see that there, it's a nice spot if you have a small purse or bag or even your wallet, you are able to store it there. It's not super big. You probably couldn't put a full-on backpack or anything like that there unless it's really, really empty. But it is a nice little thoughtful design element for you to easily put stuff that you don't necessarily want people to be able to see when they're just looking in through the windshield. So I will close up the vehicle, and now we'll take a look at the back seat. So with the back seat, we'll start off on the door. It is fairly similar to what we see from the drivers and the passengers. The only thing is that you may notice is we don't have that same piano black crosshatch trim and design element that we see in the front of the vehicle. So that is different. You also have a sunshade. So we'll put that up. The nice thing about this sunshade is it is front hooking. It's not rear hooking. I know sometimes it can be a struggle trying to pull it up, and you almost have to pull it up too much and then over for it to latch. But this one is nice and easy because it is the front hook, so you can just see it right away. For comfort in the back seat, you've got your window controls, and then you also do have heated seats in the rear. No ventilated seats, but you do have heated for the winter, or if you just have some passengers who run cold, like myself, and use it all year round. Again, you still have the textured Harman Kardon sound system here, so your passengers still are getting premium sound. And you have a pocket here as well. So it's kind of the reverse on what you see in the front, because your cup holder, it says don't use it as a cup holder, but it's good for water bottles, I promise. This is closer to the body of the vehicle instead of being closer to the outside of the door. It is fairly deep, about most of my hand deep can fit in there. So that is a good space for storage, for devices, for any electronics that you have. And then for comfort, I'll hop in here. I'm gonna bring this down, that way we can maybe get a little bit more light. Now, I'm not very tall, I'm 5'3", and I did mention that this passenger seat is probably back more than it usually is. Or if you're taller, you're probably looking at this and saying, no, Charlotte, that's just where normal people sit. And that's okay. But I find that I still have lots of leg room. I've got good room from my knees to the seat. I can move my feet pretty freely, and then I can sit back pretty comfortably as well. These seats are nice. They are leather. They do have the same quilted and perforation on them. That is the same with the driver's seats. And then for convenience, only on the passenger seat do you have a pocket. It doesn't quite stretch as much as the netting pockets, but it does stretch. That way you can still put your books, your phone, whatever in there. As we move over a little bit more, you can see that your passengers, they do have rear vents. So rear vents is very nice. That way you're getting airflow, you're getting heat back here. You have 2 USBs and then also a household outlet. So lots of ways to charge your different devices. This is a 5-seater vehicle. If you only have 4 people in the car or 3 people in the car, this does have the capacity to flip down, and you do get some more cup holders that way. Now, something else I really like about this vehicle is it is very convenient to put the seats down. We showed that from the rear, but I'll also show it from the side. On the side is you do have this little lever here, and this one may not be the best to show, but I'll try it anyways just because of this seat. But it's very easy to just pull it up and have the seats automatically fold down. It's nothing that I have to overexert myself. It's very easy. So if you're in the kid pickup line after school, and well, I guess you're not really putting anyone back there, but they need to toss their stuff back there and say you just have 2 kids popping in, it is easy to put these down. All right, so before we wrap up, we do want to make sure that we take a look under the hood. So what do we have in this vehicle? We do have a 2.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder GDI engine, and that is linked to an 8-speed dual clutch transmission. So what do these two do working together is they're going to help give you the good fuel economy that you want while still giving you power. So as for power, you've got 281 for your horsepower and then 311 pound-feet of torque. And then for towing capacity as well, as you actually have, in Canada, it's rated for 3,500 pounds. So if you have something that you can tow that falls within those guidelines, that's gonna work well for you. Of course, it may differ depending on where you are in the world. That's going to conclude our video today on the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Ultimate Calligraphy. I hope that you guys have enjoyed doing these walkarounds. And if there are any vehicles, whether Kia or Hyundai, that you want to see, or any vehicles that you want us to compare this vehicle to, make sure that you put a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so, because we are a real dealership here in Brantford, Ontario, dealing with these vehicles on a daily basis. We do have a bit of an inventory shortage, so it makes things interesting, but when new vehicles come in, we love to share them with you guys. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure that you do so for that reason. And we'll see you next time.